Come on in. Thanks for coming through to Healthy Mentality Live. Kick your feet up, grab your water or your protein shake, and join in the conversation. I'm your host, Charles, also known as RMZ. If you haven't already, please take a moment to smash those like and subscribe buttons. And if you're watching on the mobile app, throw some hype my way. All of it helps the channel to grow. Let's get this channel to 5,000 subscribers with the hurry upness. Also, I've partnered with Fridays. And if you're uninsured, underinsured, or branded GLP-1s just aren't in the budget for you, Fridays has you covered. They offer compounded GLP-1 options at accessible prices with no membership fees. And that includes your lab work, unlimited provider visits, nutrition coaching, dietitian support, and live workout programs. They also provide access to TRT for all you men out there and powerhouse supplements like Samoralin and NAD+. They even have a meal delivery service for an additional charge. You can use the link in the description of this video and the code RMZ to get a $150 discount on your first order. A reminder, there are 2 GLP-1 meetups coming up. The first one is in Atlanta on June 27th. Then there's one in Dallas on October 17th. Check the link in the description for details and for your tickets. Also, a big shout out to all the channel members out there, the big Zeppers. I thank you for your continued support always. And if you aren't a member, I still thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, and showing up here each Tuesday night to be a part of this community. Now, before we begin, a quick disclaimer. I am not a healthcare professional. I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn last night. None of my guests are healthcare professionals. And even if they were, they are not your healthcare professional. Nothing shared here is medical advice. We're simply sharing our own personal experiences and perspectives. Please consult your healthcare team before making any changes to your treatment or your routine. Now, at the end of the show, we'll have a live Q&A, and if you have a question, drop it in the comments at any point and start it with 3Qs so I can filter and easily find it. And if you're a man looking to come on and tell your story, email me at roundmoundzep@gmail.com. You can see it on the screen here. It's also going to be scrolling across the bottom of the screen in the ticker. With that said, please join me in welcoming tonight's guest. Mr. Larry, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. Doing well.
Introduce yourself to the people.
All right, Larry Hunter, husband to beautiful wife, Nancy, father to two beautiful kids, Landon and Natalia. Um, just a working man, just want to give my kids something to, see, see, something to believe in, something, I preach a lot. Most of them say I'm a preacher in the house, but just practice what I preach. So I always, when I had my son, I definitely wanted to make sure that he saw everything that I tell him to do, that I also live it. So he's been my main drive and inspiration for this whole thing and situation.
Yeah, I love that. Always practice what you preach. I love that. All right, so you told me a story about when you were coming up. Um, you was playing Pop Warner in Miami, and
Mm-hmm.
you were dealing with weight issues back then. Can you take us back to that moment? You were just explain it to the people.
Yeah. So first, I guess the first time I've ever had any weight issues was Pop Warner. I was known, and anybody know me, I'm from Miami, Florida. I was nickname was Big Ten. So when I first started playing football, I was like 10 years old, but I was playing at the higher weight class for Pop Warner, which was 135. Um, so I was too young to play. So that first year, they told me once they found out my age, they said, "Oh, you're too young. You can't play with these guys." So the following year, I was old enough, but then guess what? I still was growing. So now I weigh more. So this is the first time like I've actually had to deal with like dieting. I remember my mom having me with like Slim Fast. I was in the 8th grade, so I remember taking Slim Fast for lunch, Jello. She would give me salads on Saturdays. Well, Saturdays I had to wear this sweatsuit like most of your wrestlers wear. I would wear that on Saturday morning, wake up, go running. She would put me in the car, turn the heater on. Now, granted, we're in Miami, Florida, so it's already hot. So it's hot now. I'm in the car with the heater on. I would do that. I couldn't have no water. My father would give me something and come and swish it in your mouth, spit it back out. Don't need you to get no water weight. So this is my first introduction to weight, and then like even doing all that, I only made weight one time, and I like I told you that wasn't really me making the weight. That was just them saying we got another player. He didn't make the weight. Your player didn't make the weight. You let our player play. We'll let him play. And that was my
Yeah.
first time playing and making the weight. But that was my first time actually struggling and seeing what it took like for weight loss.
So what is it like sitting in that Miami heat in a plastic sweatsuit, trying to make weight and never actually doing it? And you're seeing all these other kids, and I'm assuming you're practicing during the week as well, and you're doing all this practice and
Mm-hmm.
not being able to get in the game. How does that affect you as a kid? How does that impact your psyche?
It was it was hard. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you it wasn't because I wanted to be out there and I wanted to play. I played my teammates. They wanted me out there. They wanted me to play, but it just wasn't cut out. Like when I look, I wish I had sent you the picture. Like there's a picture that actually shows me in 8th grade, and I'm like so tall and skinny. My father even admitted, like just last year after watching the picture, he said, "Man, son, I should have pulled you out." He said, looking at you and seeing how much weight you had to lose, and you had nothing else that you could lose. I should have just told you like that. Don't worry about it. You don't need to do this.
Yeah.
Because I was just skin and bones, but like basketball was my thing. But I wanted to play football also, give myself an opportunity at both sports. But it just wasn't cut out for me. Not at that time. Not for Pop Warner.
So back in that moment, were you angry, confused, embarrassed?
No, never,
No.
never angry, never confused. I just kept. I genuinely wanted to be out there. So it was just. I always had this headstrong. Like my father was always good with my, like just always encouraging and motivating. So like I never got discouraged. It never got me down. I knew if eventually I could have probably made the weight, but I don't think that because of how tall I was at that height, it was impossible.
Yeah.
But I never got discouraged by it. I mean, I was just like, no, I'm not going to let that discourage me. I kept plugging and trying, but just wasn't in my cards for that. Not Pop Warner.
Yeah. So basketball was your thing, and you ended up going to college playing basketball. Tell us about that experience.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now basketball. Oh, that was my joy. Like anybody know, if you know me, like I'm named after my father. So football was his thing. So I was always afraid, even though I tried football, I was always afraid that I would never live up to the hype because like everybody knew him back home. So they were like, they saw me. Oh, I know your dad. I played against your dad. Your dad was this, and I'm just like, man, I got to find a way to make a name for myself. And a basketball coach found me in sixth grade. He said, "Hey, young man, I was just a tall kid, like I told you." He found me. We played basketball. I was always so tall, believe it or not. So I went to nothing but private school growing up. So here it is. I'm this tall kid, and I'm spotting these little kids shots all over. And my dad actually got to a point where he had to always bring my birth certificate to the games because his parents would be like, "This kid is not. He's not 10. He's not 11." And he would sit there. He would let them, talk their talk, let them say what they say. And then eventually he was like, "Look, that's my son. He's carried in his wallet.
Yeah.
This is birth certificate. If you don't believe me, here it is." So with basketball, that was where I just found this joy, this passion. It's just like you found something when it just comes natural. You don't have
Yeah.
to work on it. It's just like you were just meant to be on it, and that's how basketball was.
Yeah. Um. So you played 4 years in college.
No, I did. I did 1 year in college. I went to North Carolina Wesleyan College in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. It's actually North Carolina Wesleyan University now. I played 1 year. Um, and then I just let it go. I think it wasn't nothing with the coach. It wasn't nothing with the school that I went to. It's just I think I was more discouraged at myself. Like I told you earlier, like I preach to my kids about being a student athlete,
Yeah.
and I always tell them that's where I failed in high school, because in high school, it was easy for me. Like I was on the basketball team. I just did barely enough. Now I was smart enough. I could have easily did what I needed to do to obtain the grades that I needed to, but I just was lazy.
Yeah.
And because of that's where all the letters that I was getting, it didn't mean nothing. Because when it came time to take the ACT and the SAT test, oh man, I don't care how many prep classes I went to. I took the ACT like 6 times, the SAT 3, 4 times. Like it just wasn't in the cards for me. And this one coach at Wesleyan saw me, and they kept sending me letters. And my mom was like, "Hey, you gonna go there?" And I'm looking like, "Nah, ma, I think I'm about to join the military." And she's like, "Nah, you no son of mine joining the military." So I took a tour up there during the summer. Nobody was up there. It was not the college experience you're told of, like where you go and they have a party and they no, no students, only administration in the bookstore, and it was just that. I got to hang out with one of the other team members that he lived there. He's one of my best friends today, and he showed me around, and that was it. I played there for that 1 year, and after that, I made sure I got my education, like my father told me. He said, even if basketball doesn't work out for you, make sure you come back with
Yeah.
something. Don't
Yeah.
don't come up here and give them 4 years. You don't come back, you leave with nothing in your hand. So I ended up getting my degree.
So you're 6'5". How much were you weighing in college?
So 6'5", I came into college weighing about 210. All the weight came on the minute I stopped playing basketball.
Yeah.
Because like I used to now, granted, my eating was terrible, but I guess because of playing basketball nonstop in Miami, I could afford to eat the way I did. So like I would play basketball with one of my best friends. His dad would always pick us up on Saturdays and take us out to the beach or take us out to these parks to play. And he would always admire, like after we were done playing, we would go to McDonald's or something. He's like, "I just love to see you eat." And I used to get a double quarter pounder, super size, and this is when super size meant like the real big fries. I would get that and a 20-piece nugget. So I would eat all that. He would sit there like, I don't know how you eat all this after playing and doing all that. And it was fine when I played
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
But when I stopped, and I kept the same eating habits. That's when the weight just kept creeping on.
So what
So
is
I had to
that?
learn to get better eating habits.
Yeah. So what is that transition out of being an elite athlete? How does that transition impact you when you're going from doing that, where being in shape and in condition is part of the job, to you're stopping playing now and you're just putting on weight? How does that affect? How does that impact you?
My first year or two was kind of lonely because, like you say, like it is a team sport. So like you grow up, you come into school. Like some of the guys that came in, I think we were 6 or 7 freshmen. We all came in together. So here it is. I played that one year. Now I'm not playing. Like I'm no longer part of the team. It was so it's just like you're the outsider. So you don't even get to sit at the same table with them no more. Like, 'cause you
Yeah.
ain't playing basketball. Like you can't. You sitting over here for an hour. You don't play no more.
Yeah.
So that was a little crazy at first. It was like, yeah, I had to find my footing, I had to find myself. Luckily, I've always been a people's person, so I've always been able to just interact. It wasn't just I interact with just the basketball players. So like I was able to always interact with all of my fellow students in college. So I became known, and I still got around, and I knew a lot of folks. So it wasn't that bad. But that first year or so, yeah, it was kind of crazy because you got to remember, like all I did was from the minute I picked up a basketball when I was 10, that's all I did. Summertime, basketball. You know, Christmas break, Thanksgiving, basketball tournaments, camps. So here it is now, like nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just like almost like, drinking water, breathing. Like, hold on. It felt weird at first, but eventually, it's like, no, I'm making the right decision. Like, this is not it. This is not where I want to be. I think this is where my career is going to end. I don't see myself going any further with this. So I think I made a wise decision with quitting, but sometimes I do live with a little bit of regret. With like,
Yeah.
what if I just finished out and did those 4 years?
Yeah. I can imagine that. Was there a specific moment where you looked in the mirror and said, "This ain't it"? After you
All
stopped
the
playing?
time,
Yeah.
all the time. Like my wife will tell you, like I am the biggest critic. I don't need no. You can't say nothing to me that's gonna hurt my feelings. Cause I probably done said it to myself when I look in the mirror. I've always been like that, just like man, I think I could. I always knew that I could be better. Like when I looked in them, I'm like, man, this is not it. I didn't grow up seeing my father. My father was in correction, and I used like if anybody know, like man, my father's like my Superman. So like I used to love to see him when he would come from pick us up when we were little at school. He had the uniform on, and I think that was one of the things that made me respect him and his work ethic because like man, he would come in, and he just looked like this statue of a man. Like my dad's only like 6'2". I'm taller than him.
Yeah.
Me and my brother both taller than him, but he still had that football statue like when he played football.
Yeah.
And he always represented the uniform that he wore. And I think it kind of fell on me because even when I got into law enforcement, I was in there for a little bit, 8 years. Like even I wanted to respect the uniform enough to like, look, I don't want to look sloppy. When you look sloppy, people think they're gonna try you. So like, no, you need to look like you can handle yourself. So that's when it really like I started losing weight. Then that's when it really kicked in. And I think I've told you some of my story. Like that's when the first time I found like P90X. One
Yeah.
of my friends gave me that workout, and he's
Yeah.
one of my
So
that's my daughter's godfather.
so let's dig into that. I think you said you started around 2008. It started a 17-year period where you were just on this mission to lose weight, and you kept cycling off and on, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
What initially sparked that first attempt in 2008?
So 2008, I just got out of basic law enforcement training, and I actually remember this is so there was a young lady I worked with, and she actually had went to another department, but she actually had came back. She was coming for court, and I was working in courthouse security at the time, and she saw me, and she said like, "Ooh, Hunter, what's going on with you?" And I'm like, that was the first time it clicked. Like, oh wow, like I must look terrible. She's like, you don't put on some weight. And that was, I don't know what it was, but just hearing her say that was like the first time I actually was like, wow, like, I know I've gained weight, but like somebody else that knows me
Yeah.
is now seeing it. It's just like, oh, I don't like this. I got to change this. And that's when it just started. Like, I mean, I had my one friend who gave me the P90X. He's always been in the fitness. He's always been the kind of friend that you got around you. If you got any friends, he's that one friend that had the shirt off all the time, always
Yeah.
showing off, always had the summer body. He was always ready. And I was like, I'm gonna get like that one day. He was like, look, let me give you this workout. Try this. I tried it. You may like it. I know you don't like to go to the gym, so try this at first. And that's what started. I started with P90X. Um, any Beachbody product they had, I probably had it. You say I had P90X, I had Insanity, I had Insanity Asylum, I had the other Insanity, and I still had that Insanity. And that's still, I never even opened that one, but it's still in my garage.
Do you remember how much you
So
got up to when you started in 2008?
at, at my heaviest, I was at 323 pounds
Mm.
at my heaviest. And that's just the one time I hopped on the scale and seen it. Who knows what it may have been if on a good day, but at my heaviest, yeah, 323.
And at one point, you got down to 242. What did that feel like?
242 felt awesome. Um, but I always felt like, man, I don't know what it was. Like I could always get to 240. And it seemed like I would always somehow find a way to self sabotage. I don't know what it was. Always like I'd be like, oh, you know what, you can let your foot off the gas. Yeah, you can go ahead and have some cookies.
Yeah.
And before you know it, that cookie on the weekend turned into now you got a week. Now you got a month. And before you look back in the mirror, you done packed on another 20, 40 pounds. All that hard work just wasted.
I can I can relate to that. I can relate.
Yeah. Because even my wife would tell you, like, I'm very adamant about health and fitness, but she would sit there and tell you, she said, but man, when you fall off the rails, well, you fall off bad. She seen me one day, like on weekends, I would bake cookies, and she'd be like, oh, okay, you baked 24 cookies. She's like, she'll come back the next day, like, hey, where the cookies at? I'm like, oh, ain't no more cookies. They all gone. She's like, you ate them all in one night? I'm like, yeah, it was one of them nights. See,
you,
so
you
I was
speaking
I,
my
I was my own
language.
worst enemy.
You
Yeah,
speaking
I
my
was my
language.
worst enemy. Yeah. So
All right, let's go through this list of things that you
okay.
tried over this 17-year period. Like you already mentioned some of these: P90X, Insanity, Insanity Asylum, Les Mills Combat, Body Beast,
Mm-hmm.
CrossFit, gym memberships, Tonal, and a home gym. What kept you going
Yeah.
from one thing to the next, trying to hit your goal?
I never was satisfied. I always just felt like that I always wanted more. I just never was. I just knew that I was the weight that I had on me wasn't supposed to. I knew I could do better, but it just I had to find that love for myself. I tell people all the time, like I tell you, when I look back now at this journey that I've taken, it's like, man, I really didn't love myself like that.
Yeah.
Because if I did, I wouldn't have treated my body the way I treated it. And it wasn't just always the eating. I mean, it was just even like, sometimes work would be kind of stressful and it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna treat myself. I'm gonna have a drink on the weekend. Well, it's all right to have a drink or a glass, but you finishing a whole bottle. Like that's a little, you got issues. So it would always be like, the weekend come, I have a bottle. Bottle gone come Sunday. And it'd be like it just would keep replaying like that. And before you know it, you have the drink, you have your eating, and the eating habits were bad. I would eat out all the time, and then God forbid, hey, I was in law enforcement, so sometimes we were able to eat sometimes for a little bit of nothing. So I go to Chick-fil-A and get a number one combo large with 3 cookies and an 8 count or a 12 count nugget. And before you know it, I'm up there telling the lieutenant, them like, hey, I need a new belt and a belt and some new uniforms because I done gained weight.
Yeah.
So it was just I had to find that love for myself, and like I tell people all the time, like the one thing I remember, and I think I told you this in my story was my mother. She was always adamant about me losing weight. She was always adamant about like some of my health concerns on my family side, on both of them, being hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, and she's like, and I was always the one like I'm the oldest of two, but my brother he can look at something, he's fine. Me, if I look at it, I'm gaining 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So I always had to work on losing the weight. And she just on her deathbed, like I told you, she couldn't even talk. But the one thing she could do was reach her hand up and touch my stomach and look at me and flick my stomach like, You need to handle that. You need to do something with that.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me.
Yeah, we gonna revisit that a little later. But
Mm-hmm.
isn't it interesting how, I mean, you guys have the same genetics, but your brother responds differently to food than you do. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. That's amazing.
Because the funny thing with him was like how I tell you with the Pop Warner story is that he be the one kid, he could have his whole uniform on, cleats, shoulder pads, all that, and hop on the scale don't move. Me, I had to be in them in my birthday suit, and I'd be the last one with coaches around, the grown men just hold them like, all right, trying and get on the scale. And then I put one foot on there, bing, the needle go up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I ain't make the weight.
So a little earlier you mentioned finding it difficult to stay consistent in your workout
Mm-hmm.
journey. What do you think was driving that? Was it emotional? Was it physical? Or
I think mine sometimes may have just been a little emotional. Like I think I always like to set goals. And I remember like with some of my weight loss journey, some of them would always be like goal oriented. So it'd be like, okay, I got a trip coming up. Oh, okay. Like, and that's how I am with a lot of stuff. Like if you could tell me, hey, you got this going on. Oh, okay, I know I want to look a certain way. I'll put it on my whiteboard in the garage. Need to lose this amount of weight by this time. But it would only be temporary. Because I just want to be show ready
mm,
or be vacation ready. And then the minute vacation I would go right back. So it was just things like that. I think the consistency, I just, oh man, I just tell you, like, I used to love food. I'm not going
yeah,
to story to you.
yeah.
Like, I starved myself. I ain't gonna, I'll say, yeah, I did starve myself sometimes because I told you about my diets. I've also tried vegetarian. I've tried pescatarian. I've tried 5 day or 7 day water fast. You name them, I've tried them.
So what does it feel like internally as you're going through, you're losing weight and then you stop and you gain the weight back and you're constantly on this yo-yo for 17 years. What does that do to you internally?
It just wrecks havoc. Like I could tell you, like it was just very discouraging. Like I never could get settled in. Like but I may buy a set of clothes because I lost a little bit of weight, but then I would never throw away my big clothes because I always knew like, oh, I'm gonna come back to that. Like where it's now, it's not like that, but it was always being just the seesaw up, down,
Yeah.
up, down. I remember my wife's like, this is not good. You need to pick a struggle. Which one is gonna be? You're
Yeah.
gonna be a big boy. You're gonna be small. You're gonna be skinny. But which one? You gotta pick.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to my next question. Did people around you see you struggling with your weight? It sounds like your wife did. She saw the struggle with you. Was
She
there other
saw
people
it
outside of
somewhat, but
that though?
yeah, but the wife, she loves me, so she sees it now more than anything, because like
Yeah.
she looks at the pictures and she'll still look and she's like wow, sweetheart, I really didn't know you was that big, and I'm looking like,
Mm.
maybe I look at her and like, how you didn't know? Like I knew I was this big,
Yeah.
but but I guess when you love somebody, you love them in and out, so like you're not gonna you don't see that. And she didn't see that, but I knew that what I saw and when I looked in the mirror that I didn't like the person that I was, and that's why I was always trying to fix it and just struggling. I just had to find some ground, some traction, something that I
Yeah.
could stick with, something that just made it easier.
Yeah. So good. That leads me to another question. You say you didn't like the man that you saw in the mirror. What did you see specifically that got to you?
I would look in that mirror, and that saying that one of the picture that you have up on your thumbnail is one of the pictures I always remember. I would look in the mirror at that guy, and I would just some of the things I would say to myself would just be so, oh man. I remember I used to say like, man, I don't know why your wife's still gonna be with you longer. Cause you look how big and sloppy you look, man. Who wants that? Like I remember like there's things like you wear the t-shirt when you get in the pool because you're afraid you don't want
Yeah.
nobody to see your chest. So you try to keep the t-shirt on till you hop right in the pool, or you wear a wife beater because you don't want to take your shirt off because you got your insecurities. You I didn't ride on roller coasters sometimes because I just didn't want to you know have the fear of like, oh, I'm trying to get on this. Oh, it ain't gonna click. Here we go. So those times I missed out on riding rides with my daughter and my son. I'm just like, I'm not gonna deal with that. But I just used to look at that person and be like, I just didn't like him.
Yeah.
That's not who I was. That's not the person I remember. It's just like I lost a little bit of that person. Like when I stopped playing basketball. So it's just like when I see it, I used to look in the mirror. I just like, man, this you? You really like that? Is this how you going? This is what you want your son to see?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't see my father like that. So
Yeah.
why am I letting my son and my daughter see me like this?
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely relate to a lot of that. I know, for myself being a former athlete, you have this identity of yourself, of someone being in shape, someone who is determined and who can set goals and accomplish them. And you had this physique, you were worked out all the time. And like I have mementos around my house of my playing days, pictures,
Mm-hmm.
awards and trophies and stuff like that. And you look at yourself at that bigger size and you're like, man, what the hell happened? Like, how did this happen? So I can definitely
Mm-hmm.
relate to that. And you talk about preaching to your son about discipline, and how did you struggle with that, trying to apply that to yourself as well? Because your son is watching you like you watched your father.
That struggle was that was tough because like I tell you, my son he's in track now. So my son loves to run. He does most of his events are like jumping events, but he is doing hurdles this year. But it was a struggle because I couldn't get out there and perform or do some of the things like my father was able to do with me. Like I always tell people, like my dad was my first coach because he was my first conditioning coach. Like my dad didn't play basketball, but my dad knew in order to play basketball, you had to run up and down the court. So my
Hmm.
dad would every day when we got out of school as kids, once we were done with our homework, he would take us out to the park. All right, we're about to run a mile. After we run a mile, we're gonna do wind sprints.
Yeah.
Now, after we were done running our mile, my dad would still go and run another mile or two. Then he'd come and then we do wind sprints. Then my dad would give me a 50-yard, me and my brother, 50-yard head start, and still would always catch us. And we never beat our dad in wind sprints. So you imagine you growing up and having this kind of father that's able to not only tell you when we played sports, I need you to do this, but then he can actually physically go out there and show you what he's asking you to do. That was tough because like my dad showed me what it was like, and I'm not doing that for my son.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just like, nah, because I've been preaching to my son hard work, determination. Like nothing comes easy in this world. You want something,
Yeah.
you got to work hard for it. But I wasn't living it.
Yeah.
So now this is where I'm at now with this role of life. I'm looking like now he sees it because I am waking. Like I wake up like 2:45, 2:30 in the morning. I ain't got to be to work till 7, but I wake up,
Yeah.
I go work out, get my workout in by 5:30. Then I go to work. By this time, normally Eastern Standard Time, yeah, I'm already in bed.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bless you because you've done so much for me watching you, and you've been an inspiration to me. So I was like, man, if I get a chance to do this interview with you, yeah, I'll stay up.
I
This is an honor.
appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah,
that for
man.
sure. All right, so we can apply discipline to various aspects of our lives, and one thing that I discovered is that my weight issue was one thing that was not about discipline. Did you come to find that out? And if you did, how did you feel with that burden being lifted? What you getting on a GLP-1 and knowing that it's a medical condition that you have really no control over.
Well, yeah, the weight it wasn't really because when you said mine was more, it was mental. I think it's just such like when they say food noise. I mean that is something like I didn't really know what that was what it meant till I heard someone say it, and then I'm just like wow. Because just to even take when you had that first, I think that first shot about day 3, and you're sitting up here and you're working and you're like, I ain't eating nothing, but I ain't hungry. I ain't thinking about food either though. Whereas that's always been a bit of my like, oh, what's the next meal? oh man, I can't wait to eat this. Like I always used to love to eat out somewhere or grab this sweet or have some, but when that noise got turned off and I was just able to kind of like focus on everything else, it made it a little easier. Definitely like with the working out, it just made it like I was able to just really focus in. Like I remember like it gave me a goal, something that I could achieve, and then it's just like I remember watching, like I said, I watched your videos and a lot of other folks' videos, and the main thing I remember about when I got on the shot was this: like, okay, don't just take the shot and then let the shot do the work. You got to do the work. The shot
Yeah.
system is just temporary. It's just
Tool.
something that it's aiding you, but you
Yeah.
have to put the work in.
Yeah. Definitely. And what are you on? You're on Zepbound, right?
I'm on Zepbound. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on
What do,
10 milligrams now.
okay. You're on that Mac 10, huh?
I'm on the Mac, but my doctor wants me to get. She's trying to get me about the 210, 215. So I think I'm going to titrate up. The highest I ever got up to was 12.5. So I'm after I got my next pen I take is 10 this next week, Monday, and then I go into my new prescription. I think I'm gonna go up to 12.5. I never felt like I never got to 15, but I'm thinking about I may try 15 also just to see. But I've been kind of trying to see how I can get past this two. I can't get past the 228, 227 mark. It's like
Mm.
I'll get 227, 228. Then on the weekend or Sunday, maybe 230. Then back to 227 and 233, 226. I'm like, come on.
How long you been on 10?
I've been on 10. I've been back on 10, I say about 2 months
Okay.
on 10. But
Nice.
I feel it's funny, you would think going up that you would lose more, but I think I lost more weight like at 7.5 and 5.
Yeah.
At 5 milligrams at 7.5 was my highest, like when I was dropping the weight. And then it felt like at 10, I got staggered. And then
Yeah.
that's why I went up to 12.5. But I felt like my biggest weight losses was at the 10 and, I'm sorry, at 7.5 and 5.
Yeah. And all together, you've been on it a year, right? Or just over a year?
Yep,
Yeah.
just over a year. March 25th was when I first started this journey. So I just made over a year.
All right. So how did your wife respond to your commitment this time?
So this time it's crazy because I think she saw something different in me this time around because everybody know like I'm all about my family. I'm gonna be there for them to see all their endeavors. I'm never gonna put work before them. So I'm never gonna work overtime. If I gotta be at my son's game or my daughter has something going on, they come first because like, you can't get the time back. Money come and go. The time you can't get that back. And I always wanted to be there to see them in their highs, their lows, and see them grow up. But my wife, when she seen me this go round, it was funny because like even now she's working out now, but she's been watching and she's just like, man, you've been a whole year. You've been working out a whole year now. You do realize that? And it started like actually like just going to my garage. I would wake up in the morning and I work out in my garage just
Yeah.
by myself. And the reason I do it by myself because I ain't got nobody else to worry about letting down but myself.
Yeah.
It's just me in there. And that's how I am now. Even when I go to the gym, it's just me.
Yeah.
I think about I'm killing the old Larry, and that's just the new Larry they're seeing. I want to make my 40-something-year-old self look better than my 18-year-old self.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
So yeah, so I'm almost there, but like I tell them, I'm still cooking. I ain't ready to be let out yet, said, but I'm still in the brewing.
All right, Larry. Let's we put a pin in the discussion about your mom earlier. Let's go back to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Describe her for us.
Huh. Man, mom was my rock. Mom was my I wouldn't have my degree or I wouldn't be half the man I am if it wasn't for my mother. My father was the rock as far as sports. My mother was everything else. Everything else to me, man. If you talk about public speaking, being the father, the man I am in this house, as far as she was that. Like she would never. I was because I'm the oldest. She would never let me be quit anything. So she was always hard on me. Um, and she just pushed me. She was the only one. Like if my wife was here or my brother was here talking, they would tell you like if you want somebody to get Larry to do something, call mom up. Mom gonna get him to do it. Mama get him up out of whatever he doing, wherever he at, and he gonna go do it, or he's
Yeah.
gonna do what she's asking him. And that's what she was for me. And but she struggled. No, I ain't gonna say she struggled. She gave a good fight, and that's the fight when I'm down and I don't think I got another rep or another set of me. I think about my mom because like my mom had breast cancer. She died from breast cancer. But the kind of breast cancer she had when they took care of it, it ended up going to her spine. And they only gave my mom about 6 months to live. It was her and like maybe 3 or 4 other ladies had that same type of cancer. All of them died within a span of like 6 months. My mom had lasted like 2 years, and
Wow.
we actually thought she had beat it, and then it just came back, and she couldn't walk, and then it just got to a point where God took her. But she was a God fearing woman, so I have no questions. I have no doubt that hey, where she's at. She's looking down on me and my brother and my father and I, and but she was that pillar.
Yeah.
She's the reason. Like I tell you all the time, man. Like, whew, that lady. If she ain't want me to join the military, she ain't want me to. And she wanted me to get my education. She's the reason why I stayed in school as well. Cause I told her at one point, I'm like, Mom, I don't think the school thing gonna work out. I said, I was at every party, and I came in '97 and graduated in 04. You do the math clearly. I had a little too much fun.
Yeah.
But she said, no, you gonna stay. You gonna figure this out. You gonna do this. We're not gonna quit this. And that's what we did. We figured it out. Got that education, and that was definitely thanks to her. But she's still there with me. I
Yeah.
hear her voice,
So
and I
sorry
wake
for
up.
your
There's not a
loss,
day go
man.
by. Yeah, man.
But I can see you
Appreciate it
light up talking about her. And I can see that
all
love
day.
and that light in you when you talk about her. So take us through the moment you communicated to me that on her deathbed she couldn't talk, but
Mm-hmm.
she reached out and grabbed your stomach or rubbed your stomach, and she was communicating to you about your weight, and you
Mm-hmm.
knew what she was saying to you. How did that moment hit you, and how did it affect you going forward?
Mm. Um, it was tough. I here it is because in my eyes, I'm thinking like, man, you got other things to worry about. Mine, you could worry about my weight. Like, really? Like, we just could worry about you. And but it was my weight, and she was always like that. She was just like, nah, she wanted me to. She just wanted me to lose weight. She just wanted me to be healthy. She did not want me to be unhealthy. She didn't want me to be on no medication. She didn't want me to be having to take no shots. So it meant something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the drive that I have now. Like even like when that alarm clock goes off, sometimes I beat the alarm clock up. I'm ready to work out because I'm just ready to get the day started. Cause I feel like if I get a workout in, anything else that I face during the day, it don't mean nothing. Because
Yeah.
I did the hardest part. I woke up and I worked out. While
Yeah.
most of y'all was laying down sleeping. I
Yeah.
was in there working.
Yeah.
So it just that was tough. It was tough with her doing that, but it always just showed me like no matter what your bad days are, man, you still, and I think that's what I am with my kids. I just like, hey, I want to be that for them and show them too. So I try to pick them up and show them things that I may see. But man, yeah, that was a little tough with her
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. And
So
you,
I
you
was just
said you
thinking
said
about
you
that. Yeah.
hear you said you hear her voice every morning, and when you those days that you don't want to get up at 3 a.m., she's driving you out to bed. That's
All day,
powerful. Yeah.
all day, man. Like yeah, I was just got to get up.
Do you think she knew how much that moment would stay with you?
Hmm.
Because clearly it worked.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, yeah. It's not
Uh,
a day go by. Yeah, yeah.
all right, let's talk about Zepbound. When did you first learn about it?
So I learned about Zepbound. Honestly, I've heard about it, but I was like, oh, I ain't gonna mess with this thing. I don't know. I've always done it the hard way. That's the way you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to work out. You just got to go through this. You got to, shut that food noise off. But I learned a first hand knowledge of it by watching my brother take it. I said, I'm gonna let you be the guinea pig then. Since you want to be on Zepbound, you don't want to try to work out, do like I'm doing. You want to take the easy route out. Go ahead. So I watched him do it a whole year. Yeah, about a whole year because we had a family reunion, a cruise we were going on. And I watched him from that time when he started to when we got to the cruise, and I was just like, wow, like man, you look good. And I'm like, and you ain't work out either. You just kind of. I think he said he would go swimming, but he never really was a big weightlifter like that. So I'm like, but he had lost so much weight, and I'm like, okay. So when we got back, I told myself, I said in 2025, I said, yeah, I said the next time I go to my doctor that yearly, I'm gonna ask her about it. Now already I had issues where I was having dizzy spells a couple years prior to that. They hooked me up to the cardio. They had me do a stress test, get on the treadmill and do all that, check my heart. All that came out fine, but it would just be times when I would get up and I just get dizzy. So that was an issue. Then another time they said I was pre-diabetic. So that definitely when I went to the doctor to talk to them about it, that she was like, oh yeah, you're fine. You definitely a candidate for the shot. So I never looked back. I mean, now granted, I had to have them come by the house and do that first one because I don't know what it is about needles, but that first shot was the most scariest shot. That little old needle and my big stuff, and I'm still up there like, they're like, can you do it, bro? Now I take the shot, it don't even bother me. But that first
Yeah,
shot was the most scariest shot I could ever took.
yeah. So there's a lot of stigma around GLP-1s, and
Hmm.
you was on the side of this the easy way out. How do you feel about it now?
I would tell anybody that's out there if you're struggling and you've been going through it, you've heard Charles tell y'all, like I've been trying to do this since 2008. If you've been trying and you've been going through it, like I would tell you, like it does not hurt to give it a try. Why not? You tried everything else. What's gonna hurt? If your insurance is able to cover it, or if you're able to find a provider that can work with you and you can get the shot that way, try it. You have nothing to lose. So like I would tell anybody, like I have my own friends. I had like I told you, I have a friend now. He's on it, doing phenomenal. He asked me, and I just was blunt with him. I said, man, I'm on the shot. I take the shot, man. Like now people start to ask me now. I'm honest with them. Like, hey, I'm on the shot. This is not just me the hard work. I know y'all seen me do hard work before. This is not just all hard work now. This is
Yeah,
I take Zepbound.
yeah,
This works. If you take this shot and do this little bit of work, you get these results.
yeah. What do you think that the medication is doing for you that the previous approaches weren't able to do for you? Is it a psychological thing, a physical thing? Apart from it, doing some regulation of your hormones. What do you think it's doing for you outside of that?
It's got to be psychological when you mention it because like everything else is still the same, but just psychologically, I do not look at food the same way that I used to before.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't like me and my wife was just talking the other day and she was mentioning something like, oh man, I got a craving for this, and I be thinking to myself like, I don't have cravings like that no more. Like I eat, but I don't know. I no longer look at food as an enjoyment no more. It's just like this is something I need fuel.
yeah,
My car needs gas. That's what I am. I treat my body like, all right, I need fuel. I need some protein. I need some carbs, and that's what it is. And I measure all my stuff out. I weigh it out. I actually keep a log of my food that I eat, and I know how many calories I need. I know how much protein I should have, and that's what I'm trying to stick to just to get to my weight goal. But it's mentally it's something different. I don't know what it does to you, that stuff, but mentally my relationship with food is not the same.
yeah,
Like I don't sit there and overly indulge like I used to. I
yeah.
don't get that what is that they say you get? when you eat something that
Dopamine hit.
uh, I don't get that no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with any side effects?
No, no side effects.
Constipation or?
I'm not gonna say constipated. Now, movements ain't like they used to be.
Yeah.
If anybody know, but it's that's the only problem. If I had to point out anything that I've had, it would just be that. Just sometimes the bowels, irregular bowels. But other than that, nothing else.
And what comorbidities were you dealing with when you started? Like you were pre-diabetic and high blood
Yeah. So I
pressure?
was no. So they wanted to put me on high blood pressure medicine. That was a couple years prior to that, but I was like, nah, man, because I already heard when y'all put people on these medications, they can't come off. I said, you just tell me what I need to do, and I'm gonna do that. So I started doing whatever they told me I needed to do as far as that. But I did have a scare where they wanted to put me on some blood pressure medicine, yeah,
Hmm.
but I never got on it.
Yeah. You didn't have pre-diabetes when you started?
They said I was pre-diabetic.
Okay.
Yeah, she said I was pre-diabetic.
And how are your health markers now? Everything looking good?
I just had a physical last month. Everything is fine. She actually enjoys seeing me because like when she sees me, I don't know if what she thought about the shot or how much she thought it was going to work because she sees me, she's just like, oh my God, you're doing so well. She's like, now we can just get. She's like, now I know this is what the markers say as far as your BMI. She's just like, I just would like to see if we can get it down to like 215, 210. Just to see, because I think she asked me, she said, what do you want to get your weight to? And I always tell my wife, like, I wouldn't mind getting back down to 210, 200. That was my playing weight. And my
Yeah.
wife's like, you're 47 years old, baby. You ain't playing. Why you keep mentioning playing weight? You ain't playing no sport no more. Ain't playing it over with.
That's because we remember how he looked back then at that weight.
Exactly. That was prime Larry. So I'm looking like I want to get back to 210. But I'm fine. I think maybe if I get to 215, I think I have too much muscle on me now. Like honestly.
Yeah. All right. So, do you think you're on it for the long term, or are you looking for an exit plan?
I want to look for an exit plan. My doctor told me that I'm good to be on it long term. I don't want to be on this long term. I do want to see if I can try to stretch it out. I haven't gone to I know some of your videos I watch. I know I've heard you say sometime like you may go like take a shot, do 10 days or do 14 days, and then
Mhm.
take your next shot. I haven't started that yet. I'm still doing every 7 days. I think I may try to stretch that out, but I do eventually want to see myself like try to wean myself off of it because I don't want to be on it long term. But then you get so afraid. You just like, man, what if I stop? Because I hear all the horror stories about how some people they regain the weight back in a month or so, like they gain back 15, 20 pounds within a month.
Yeah.
I don't think mentally that'll happen to me where I'm at physically right now and the person that I see in the mirror when I'm looking at the drive that I have. But man, it sure does help, man, to pop that shot and just keep going.
Yeah. 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 All right. So, the physical transformation gets all the attention. What has the emotional side been like for you?
So the emotional side has been it's awesome. So I have to admit something. So I started Zepbound in March, and then shortly after that, I found, of course, you start YouTube College, and then you start like, man, I think I got low T. So it's funny. Like I started testosterone like in June of that last year. So when I got on testosterone, and then you take Zepbound and testosterone, I'm just like, oh wow, like okay, now I feel like who is this guy?
Yeah.
So when you talk about the mental aspect now, like mentally, I'm just like, man, there's not a room I can't step into. I don't feel like I don't own it. That's just mentally where I'm at. I feel like the 18-year-old again,
Confidence is through the roof, huh?
all day,
Yeah. And
all day. I put
what go ahead, go ahead.
go ahead.
So I asked, what were you dealing with before you started TRT? What side effects
So
were you dealing
before, man, I had no lack of drive. I was just always just I had energy, but not the kind of energy I thought I should have,
Hmm.
and then my just I, I just felt like I was like I told my doctor, like I feel like I'm just a shell of myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't. And so we took the test, and he was like, man, you definitely can use some PRP. Like you definitely can. So when I got on that, and then I actually got had my wife go, and she went, and we hey, but so she got checked out. But as far as me, yeah, like that's been a life change. It's
Yeah.
been I can't. I'm glad I met that doc. I
Yeah, I've
tell
been dealing.
anybody, man, get your testosterone checked.
I've been dealing with that for the last year. That's why I asked, because I just started 4 weeks ago. My
Hmm.
my energy levels were in the tank. It's like I did not want to get up, didn't want to do anything. My mood was kind of like depressive, kind of like in a
Yep,
zombie state, you know.
I agree.
Yeah. Um. All right. Let's look at your before and afters.
Woo, they got a story to tell. Woo, that's first. That's P90X. That's in the kitchen.
Yeah. How much you think you weigh right here?
Oh, I'm every bit about 320 some pounds. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
319.
And
I
with
used
your
to work
height,
out in the 6'5".
yeah. What I'm saying, I was about
That
to
was
say, with your height, you don't look that big, but that's just because you have more height to spread it out over.
hmm that
About
may
the
be
same.
bigger than the other picture.
Yeah.
And this is in my current home where I live. So man, I don't even know if I hopped on the scale on that one. But whew, yeah, that's 320. Hmm.
It's a side by side. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
What what about what's are you about the same size you are now in that left picture?
Just about.
Yeah.
It got a little bit more definition showing a little bit now, but I'm relatively that size right now.
Yeah.
Those are more of my current ones in the gym. Yeah,
Getting it in.
you have to, man.
I think this one really shows the contrast.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
didn't even recognize. I had to look at the picture on the right a few times to see your face. I didn't recognize you when I was looking at that picture.
yeah, that's me. That is, and that's the part. That's why I remember telling you during the early part of the interview. Like I was like, my wife was like, I didn't see that, and I'm like, I look at this picture here, and I'm like, how? How could you not? Because I saw that. That's what
Yeah.
I saw.
Looking
Wow.
good. You're looking good, brother. All right, 3 a.m. workouts. Why 3 a.m.?
So that's the only time when I can dedicate and that nobody needs Larry.
Yeah.
When I get it, because I know when anytime once that in the morning time, like my biggest thing is this: I can sacrifice sleep to obtain something I want. I would tell my son, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up to get what you want? You got to be willing to give up something. So sleep is mine. I don't, I don't sleep that long anyway. But in the morning time, it's something about that gets me started.
Yeah.
That is my drive. That is I look forward to. It's funny you ask about mornings. Like I get up out that bed like watching Creed 3, and you see Udonis get up when he sees himself get knocked out, and he's trying to think about fighting his friend, and he's in there sparring, and he at one point he's sparring with what's his name's son, and he's like just beating him down. He's like, man, I think we need to just not continue. And he's sitting there, and it says, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And he sits there and he thinks about the times he got knocked out, and he pops up. That's how I wake up every morning when it's time to get it. I
Yeah.
look forward to it. That is just like that's my sanctuary now.
Yeah. And then that's
My wife is.
I can completely relate because I love going to the gym before work. I get up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the gym typically at 3 a.m., but it has happened before. But I'm up at 3 and in the gym by 3:30, 4 o'clock. and it just starts the whole day off right. It gets,
Yeah.
gets your blood flowing and it gets you in a mindset. And I couldn't do that for an entire year. I couldn't get up before work because I was just so flat. But getting on TRT has changed that dynamic for me. So I'm back in the gym. Like you said, I'm getting up, just popping up with let's go get it attitude. So I completely relate to what you're saying.
I mean, Charles, to be quite honest, man, I mean, I heard you say like a year, but you've been through a lot. So I'd also commend you for even now that with your struggles and what you've been through. Because like
Yeah.
I said, I've been following you since I told you been on the panel with the young lady and the other gentleman, and I got to follow all your struggles and what you were going through health wise and how you made it out. I
Yeah.
remember watching you tell the story about the other gentleman with the bell ringing and I think his wife. I think you
Oh
had
yeah.
there was
Yeah. Yeah.
I
The,
remember
that
watching that, and I'm just like, wow. So now when I see you working back out, I said, man, he's getting his health back. He's getting stronger. Now he's able to get back in the gym.
yeah.
So like, hey, I commend you.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
It ain't been easy for you either.
No, it ain't been easy. This last year has been
No.
hell. I've been
Yeah.
pushing through it, but it's been hell. And now that I know what was wrong, was
Mm-hmm.
struggle trying to get on the TRT. But now that I'm on it, I'm feeling great now.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, man.
what is your workout like now?
So my workout is I'm currently on a 6-day workout. I do one body part a day. I do legs is twice. So Friday and Saturday I do legs. I do like quads maybe that Friday and hamstrings are that Saturday. Followed up with I'm up to a 45-minute cardio after I
Mm,
work out. So I don't. I'm about it. I'm in the. I say I'm in the gym for about almost feel like about an hour and 45 minutes.
yeah,
But I love with the mornings, like you said, because you ain't got to worry about nobody gonna sweat all on the equipment either. Like
yeah,
you got all the equipment to yourself,
yeah,
so you're able to roam around and go through anything, and then like you start to build this restriction because like there's only a handful of people that's gonna get up that kind of morning
yeah,
and work out. And when you start to see, like, I was a new guy at the gym starting of December, but now I'm like the old guy because all of them start to respect you because they're like, man, hold on, this cat here, he a little different. Like he been consistent since December. Every day he in here, like, and that's just I have to get it.
yeah,
Even on my Saturdays, my wife's like, you ain't gonna sleep in. I'll sleep in when I get back, but I'm gonna work out and then I'm gonna take a shot and I'll get in bed. But I'm gonna go work out first because
yeah,
I laid around long enough.
yeah, yeah. And what are you doing nutrition wise these days?
So nutrition wise, I'm not on anybody type of fad. Like I told you, I did carnivore and all that. I don't do any of that. I just kind of make sure I monitor what I eat. So I just make sure like I have a good. I try to get either about a gram or about zero point 0.8 or 1 gram of protein per body weight. So if I say I'm trying to get to about 200, 210, I try to get like about 210 grams of protein. My carbs, I try to keep them low. So I'm only on about maybe 200 something, maybe 250, 260 something grams of carbs. Eat a little bit of vegetables. Um, my sweet tooth is now it's like a protein shake I make with like strawberries, blueberries. I put some peanut butter in there, some chia seeds, and some oat milk. And that's like my little sweet reward every I guess I have to have that at night. That's my last little meal of protein shake.
Nice, nice.
So I'm
Who's home?
averaging about 2,300 calories a day.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice range right there, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So who holds you accountable? Is it you? Is it your wife?
It's me.
Is this you?
It is me.
Love
It is
that.
me.
Love
I
that.
hold myself accountable. I log all my stuff down. I log my workouts. Like I tell my wife, she's been on this journey now trying to lose also and going to the gym. Or she says she's struggling with eating or any of my friends that when we talk about health and fitness and we talk about food, the first thing I'm always asking, do you log down what you eat? No, I don't. But I know I don't eat that bad. Well, how about you just try to log it down for like just give me a week because you'd be surprised at the things
Yeah.
that you put in your mouth when you're
Yeah.
not logging it. How them calories? Like I tell my wife, like a lot of them, like a lot of people drink their calories, don't even realize,
Yeah.
those sugary drinks, those add up.
A lot and quick.
Yeah. So you take it
Yeah.
like, and then when you read the back of the label and come to find out it's 2 or 3 servings, but you drink it just by yourself. I'm like, you do know you got to multiply that by 3. Like that's not just that one number you see that says 3 servings.
Yeah.
Per serving has 107 calories. Oh, really? Yes.
Yep.
Think
Yep.
about that. So
What's one thing that you think men get wrong about weight loss that you had to unlearn?
you can't outwork a bad diet. A lot of people think, man, I can eat what I want and then I just gonna go work it out. Like it don't work that way.
Yeah.
I would tell people that the biggest component of this whole fitness journey has been the kitchen. The workout is easy. It may seem tough mentally for you when you're in there doing it, but the kitchen is where it's really where like if you want abs, like they said, that's where your abs are in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So like I tell people like pay attention to what you eat.
Yeah.
Just realize like get over the whole fad of what the world tells you as far as like breakfast, lunch, dinner. Sometimes we may have to skip breakfast. They skip lunch. We were hunter gatherers.
Yeah.
So back in the day, you wanted to eat, you had to go out there and find your food first
Yeah.
and get
Yeah.
it. We didn't just go to the refrigerator, open it up, and break out the bacon, eggs, and I'm gonna have some grits. Oh, you had to
Yeah.
hunt for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, tell people all the time, man, just you can't outwork a bad diet.
I love that. So my last question for you is, what's next?
Man, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it though. I am. I really don't know. I told my wife and I told one of my best friends I would not mind because as we get older as men, and you're an athlete like I was an athlete, you're always looking for something to compete, something to drive you, and that's the hardest part when you get older and you no longer, but you can no longer. You can still, I can still go out and play basketball if I want, but physically demanding that is and the taxing it is on the body, I don't know. But just challenging. Like so my next thing is like maybe you trying to do like a senior I thought about maybe senior like body weightlifting not weightlifting but bodybuilding competition like
Mm,
for senior just to see if I physically can get my body there. So that's been like my main drive now, just like as I'm in there working out, just really focusing and homing in on that and hopefully like maybe seeing within the next year or so where that takes me. But all in all, like I tell them anyway, I just want to make sure like when my daughter or my son sees me that they looking like man, or when they friends see me, like man, your dad, that's what I want. Your dad
yeah.
big man, like your dad,
Yeah.
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 So
Love that. All right, time for the Q&A. You ready?
all day,
Yeah, all
let's
right.
go.
First up is Mel B. Appreciate you, Mel. Super chat. Let me see. Make sure it's there. Okay. She wants to know, she wants to say, thanks, Charles and Larry. What a heartwarming interview. She's a fellow Miamian.
Yes,
Since you've
ma'am.
nearly met your weight goal, what's the next goal?
So the next goal, I'm almost at my weight goal. I'm not quite there yet, but I think the next goal for me is just a body transformation. Like I got my 30 year coming up for my high school next year, so I'm already being on this interview. Half my friends, if they've seen it, they don't know what I look like now. But I was hoping to have this big transformation for when I get there for 30 years. But I just want to just jaw dropping, just like wow, like oh man, like so I just want to be something totally different from what that they remember.
Yeah.
I want when they see me, like, oh man, you have changed. Because when as we all get older, people they expect you to gain weight or not look. But I want them to be like, man, you still look like you look when we graduated 30 years ago. Exactly. That's what I want.
Love that. Thanks for that question, Mel. All right, next up we have Travel Techie. Did Larry's weight stall at 240 pounds often? What did he
Yeah.
do to go past it? Change prescription dosage, nutrition, exercise. Good combo. Congrats on your success.
So my weight stayed at the 240. I mean, I thought that thing didn't budge about a month and a half. It sat there. It just sat there. Even when I did go up in medication, it would sit there. Like I had to start eating. I had to force myself to eat a little bit more. I don't think I was eating enough, and because I wasn't, I think my body was just like, okay, we're not getting rid of nothing else. Like you feel like you're starving us, so we're not going to allow you to lose any more weight. So like I actually ended up having to force myself to eat more. So I increased my protein. I think at that time I wasn't eating as much carbs. So then I had to really start being like, okay, you need to incorporate some carbs, Larry, because like I think I was still trying to in my head like trying to still do the carnivore because I had such good success with that, but like my body was like, no, that's not going to work. So it was just like I had to keep just trial and error. So like I think we increased the protein, added some more carbs in, and then I got to really walking. When you talk about some people do like 10,000 steps, man, I may average like 20 to 22,000 some steps a day
Wow.
because
Wow.
you can't run no more when you get old. So, but one thing you can do is walk, and
Yeah.
walking is just as good.
Double up on them. 20K.
Yeah, the neighbors around here, if you was come in my neighborhood, they'll tell you like, yeah, that guy, he a walking fool. He always walking around here.
Great question, Travel Techie. Next up, we have Kevin. Kevin, former guest. How you doing, Kev? What became the impetus for the transformation? What was the final straw?
That's a good question. Oh wow. And I thought I had one when I read that question the first time. Uh my final straw. I think I so I got this one suit. My wife can't stand this suit. It ain't much look. It's this one black suit, but it looks terrible. And I think I had to wear that at someone's funeral. And I told myself, man, like I'm not going. I will not put this suit on no more. This will be the last time that I'm gonna wear this suit. Because I don't. This is it does nothing for me physically. It doesn't look attractive on me, and it just I need to change something. And it started with that. Like the suit, I think was just it was already having feelings of that I wasn't needed to lose. But that suit and wearing that and seeing her face and like, oh God, here you go with this. I was like, you know what? Nah, we got to do something different. We got to switch it up. We got to approach this thing different this time.
Thanks for that question, Kev. I'm scrolling the chat for questions that didn't put the Q in front of it. There's always a few. I think we got them all. All right. Got one from Mickey Frost. How to get access to? I think he's saying TRT instead of try. How did you get access to TRT?
I actually, so I did want to ask my doctor, but then when I could tell when I asked her that she really didn't know much about it, and then when I did some homework, I found out that there's a lot of steps you got to go through as far as you trying to go through your primary. Cause I think they'll refer you to endocrinologist, and then endocrinologist going to test you, and then you're going to test you twice. So they're not going to take that first test. So I didn't want to go through all that. So I just went ahead and I found myself a clinic. I went to a clinic here in our area in Kannapolis, Armor Medical, and met this gentleman and he did my test. Said, yeah, I was a candidate. Now, I wasn't low, but I wasn't high where he wanted me to be. I think I came in about like 390 something. So he was like, yeah, you can use a little bit of TRT. So then that's how we got started.
Yeah. For me, I went to a urologist as my primary for lab work,
Hmm.
and then she referred me to an endocrinologist, but I couldn't really get in with them, so I went to a urologist. But there are various methods to get to it. Let's
Now, do they
see.
got you taking one, or do you take one shot a week, or they got you splitting your dose, taking it twice a week?
Twice. I take half a meal twice a week.
Okay.
What about you?
My doctor actually got. I'm up to 300. So he got me taking. I take 3 shots.
So what, 100?
Monday, Wednesday, and
Or
Friday.
sorry, one meal,
Yeah.
one meal
Uh,
3 times a
yeah.
week.
Pretty much. Well, because yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. You're correct.
yeah. So we got this.
I'm almost close to what people say that's TRT plus almost, but not quite.
Yeah, got this comment from Lovely11. She said, "Larry, my dad worked at corrections in Miami. The twins, Gant and Muhammad." She says, "You practically have the same life."
Oh wow. Huh.
I think
Yeah,
we
they
got
probably know my dad.
yeah, I think we got a few Miamians in here between Lovely and Mel. I think Mel said she was born at the hospital you mentioned. I saw when I was scrolling up.
Huh. Okay.
Uh,
I wonder if
this guy's getting banned. I swear.
really. Okay.
Uh, I don't see any more questions. I guess I did my job again. I asked all the questions, so they didn't have anything else left to ask. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it. Where can they follow you
Okay.
at?
Um, it's funny. You asked me that earlier, and I was like, man, I don't even know what my Instagram. I have an Instagram, but I'm not. I'm not on it like that. But my Instagram is actually like Headhunter35
Yeah,
on
and
IG.
yeah, and that's linked down in the description of this video if anyone wants to follow him. Oh, thank you, RE Houston. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Became a member. HJ Comedy. Appreciate you, brother.
That is my daughter's godfather. That's the man that gave me P90X.
Love it. We got another question. John Henry. Are your TRT injections sub-Q or IM?
I am. And the glute.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that. I want
Come on,
sub-Q.
man. Oh, we already
I,
do stuff too with the Zepbound. Yo, come on.
I did. I,
So,
I want
the funny,
sub-Q.
funny story. You thought doing the Zepbound was bad. You should have seen the first time my doctor had me try to do the TRT shot. He had me want to do in the thigh,
Hmm.
and he brought the needle out, and he was like, I'm gonna show you where to put it at." Now he had this other box, and I didn't know what it was at first. I'm like, well, what's in the other box? He's like, well, let's just see what you can do with the shot first. So in the box was another device where you can put the needle in, and it makes it easier for you to take the shot, give yourself the shot, because like you just put the needle in this device, you pull it back, and then you just have to click this green button and then push, and then it'll shoot the needle into you. But then you have to just squeeze it. You have to squeeze it in. But
Mm.
that made it so much easier. But he was like, I just want to see if you can do the needle first. So of course, I brought the device because that was a selling point. I knew it. But like my biggest thing was after doing that, I was like, I got to at least see if I can get myself this shot one time. So I have done it. I don't need the device, but I just had to get over that. But yeah, I do in the muscular.
Uh,
I don't do the thighs no more because I'm just afraid of the veins and all that. So I just rather do just the glute.
Yeah, I was worried about a couple things: the veins, the nerves, and
Mm-hmm.
scar tissue from multiple
Yep.
injections in the site. So I went sub Q since the efficacy is the same, and you don't experience the high which that you would do with intramuscular, if you're especially if you're only doing one injection a week. But it sounds like you're doing three, so you probably won't
Yeah.
experience that.
Well, let me ask you this now. Do you when you're doing sub Q, do you not get the lump or anything from the oil buildup? Because okay,
No.
so your shot's not that much to where you have to. Okay,
Yeah, that's the only downside that I saw from doing sub Q, but I'm only doing half a meal, so I never had that. I have had that when I was doing lipo B and lipo C injections, because I was doing 100 or 1 meal or 100
mm-hmm,
units. So sometimes I would get that nodule where the liquid just will sit there for a while before it goes down. I haven't had that so
gotcha.
far with sub Q. And Darren said, "Y'all grown with these IM injections."
Come on, man, you can do it.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I appreciate you all for coming out tonight. Again, you can follow Larry on Instagram. His page is linked in the description of this video. I will be back next week with Julio. Um, what is the name of Julio's channel? Ride the Tide. Julio Ride the Tide. He'll be on here next week. So looking forward to that conversation. I think he's also from the Florida area. So looking forward to
Okay,
that conversation. With that, Larry, I thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you. We will follow your journey and keep pace with you. Thank you again, brother.
appreciate it. Thank
You
you.
have a great night.
Thank you for your time. You
All right.
too. Thank you.
And I'm
All
going to
right.
close it out with these three words. As I close, I want to leave you with three important reminders. First up, prostate cancer screening. Screening no longer requires a digital rectal exam for those of you that are scared of that. It's a simple blood test typically covered by insurance. For most men, screening should begin at age 50. If you're a black man or have a family history, such as a father or a brother that has had prostate cancer, screening should begin at the age of 45. However, if you're a black man with a family history, you should consider starting screening at the age of 40. Black men are about 80% more likely to develop prostate cancer and twice as likely to die from it, largely because it's often detected too late after it has spread. Early detection is critical. Prostate cancer often has no symptoms until it's advanced. I had no symptoms for mine, and thankfully they caught it before it spread. Second up, colorectal cancer screening. Colorectal cancer is affecting younger and younger people. Early detection saves lives. There is approximately one diagnosis every 25 minutes in people under 50. It is now the leading cause of cancer death for men under 50 and one of the leading causes overall in that age group. Among the top five cancer related deaths, it's the only one increasing in younger adults. Men are more likely to be diagnosed at a younger age and more likely to die from it. Approximately 75% of patients under 50 are diagnosed with advanced stage cancer. That's either stage 3 or stage 4. Think of celebrities like Chadwick Boseman and James Vanderbeek, both under 50 when diagnosed and when they died. Screening reduces mortality by up to 60%. Colon cancer is one of the most preventable cancers, but only if you get screened. Lastly, get your testosterone levels checked. As the experts in this space say, there is no single better indicator of a man's overall health than his testosterone levels. Make sure the test includes your total testosterone, your free and bioavailable testosterone, because at the end of the day, that is more important than your total number. Also includes your SHBG levels, your LH levels, your FSH levels, and your estradiol levels. Gentlemen, take your health seriously. No one is coming to save us. We have to show up for ourselves and for each other because we are our brother's keeper. And remember, iron sharpens iron.